and welcome to my Q1 wrap-up, in which I give you all of my reading stats and reading progress for the first half of 2025. So starting with some of the more basic reading stats that I have read 36 books so far this year, which is an average of 12 books a month. I've read 10,311 pages. The longest book that I read was The Striker. This is definitely a very chunky romance book, but a very good one that I would really recommend. I have a 3.5 average star rating, and the rating that I have given out the most this year is actually a 4-star rating. I've given 4 books 5 stars, and the first one was Devon and Kris Plan a Wedding. This book was so good, so fun. It's a queer romance. Highly recommend this one if you have not already read it. I also gave 5 stars to Braiding Sweetgrass, and this is a nonfiction book all about the environment, and this is probably my favorite book of the year so far. I am absolutely in love with this book, and I cannot wait to get a physical copy of it so I can reread it, annotate it, highlight it, all of that. But if I was to recommend any of these books, it would definitely be this one. It is my all-time favorite. I also gave 5 stars to Chlorine, which is a literary horror type book. This one was really good. I didn't know what to expect really going into this one, but it really surprised me and I really loved it. And then the most recent book that I gave 5 stars was actually Kaiju number 8, volume 12. This was just a fantastic volume that came out. I don't want to spoil the series, but it is a sci-fi action sort of series. There is an anime on it. I really like the anime too, but this volume specifically was just so great. I loved everything about it. My top genres are romance, nonfiction, and fantasy. Romance made up 33% of my reading, nonfiction made up 25% of my reading, and fantasy made up about 22% of my reading. Breaking down the format of books that I have read, 17 were audiobooks, which isn't really a surprise. I have been reading a lot of audiobooks this year. 10 were physical books and 9 were ebooks. Ebooks are definitely not a format that I enjoy reading that much, especially if you've seen my big ebooks unhaul video. I talk about that more in that video. 75% of the books that I read were traditionally published and 25% were either indie or self-published, which I'm pretty happy with that statistic just because I am reading the books that I own, and I do own a lot more traditionally published books. And then no surprise, 86% of my reading was targeted at an adult audience. Moving on to my big challenge of the year, and that is reading down my TBR. If you have been on my channel for any length of time, you will see that I have been weekly vlogging my progress of reading all the books that I own. I started out the year with 341 books on my TBR, and I am currently at 249, which is down by 92 from the beginning of the year. So I have already talked about all the books that I have read this year, but I also talked about that big ebooks unhaul video, and that is why I am down so many books from the beginning of the year. I ended up DNFing a lot of ebooks, so that is where the majority of my progress has come from, but I am very happy to be under 250 books. It makes me very happy, a lot less stressed, knowing that I don't have over 300 books on my TBR. So I'm very proud of that, and I will break it down by the format. So at the beginning of the year, I had 117 ebooks, and that number is now down to 39, which is down 78 books from the beginning of the year. Again, it's from that very big ebooks unhaul video that I did, but I'm very happy with that number because, again, ebooks are not really a format that I enjoy reading very much. At the beginning of the year, my audiobook TBR was at 118, and it is now at 111, which is only down by 7. However, audiobooks are what I have been acquiring the most of, so it kind of evens out, I guess, in that I've been acquiring a lot of books, but my TBR is still down. So while I would like a little more progress there, I am still very happy that it's at least not up or have stayed the same. In that same vein, my physical TBR was at 106 books at the beginning of the year, and it is now down to 99, which is only down by 7, but I have gone on a bit of bookstore shopping sprees, so I'm not too surprised that there wasn't more progress made there, but I would like to see in the next quarter that I definitely read more of those physical books. So my big goal with this challenge, I have decided on a number, and I would like my entire TBR to be down to 160 by the end of the year. I just think that's a good number with how much I read each month, and also still being a bit of a stretch goal to sort of make sure that I'm reading the books on my TBR and not reading books from the library or buying more books. I do also want to go on a bit of a stricter book buying ban, but I will talk about that in the next section because I'm going to talk about the books that I have acquired in this first quarter. So I've acquired 34 books in this first 3 months of the year, which is averaging about 11 books a month, which is quite a lot, especially considering that my average of books that I read each month is about 12. So while I am still making progress, it's not as much as I could be making if I was acquiring less books. I've also started tracking how much I'm spending on books just to sort of make sure that I'm keeping myself on track and accountable for how much money I'm spending, and it's not too bad, I will say. I've spent $109.69 on the 34 books that I acquired, which is an average about $3.23 per book, which is not bad. I would say about half of the books that I have acquired were free, and the other half are books that I have gotten pretty much at full price or just under the listing price of them. So I feel like it kind of balances it out, but whether the books are free or not, I would just like to sort of slow down on how many I am acquiring. A lot of these books that I am bringing in are audiobooks, and that is because I am part of the Libra FM Influencer Review Program. This is a program where each month you get like a selection of books to choose from that you can read for free, and because these books are free and they are available to me, I've just been downloading any that I have any sort of vague interest in, and I would like to limit myself a lot more on that and only choose the books that I know I will be reading very soon or are some very anticipated books of mine. But yeah, I would like to limit myself on these audiobooks and just overall go on a bit more of a book buying ban, and just know that if I go to a new city or somewhere, I do not need to go to the bookstore and get a book. That one's going to be a bit hard for me, but I do think I can do it. Alright, but that is it for my quarter one reading wrap up. Let me know what you guys thought of this video and if I should continue doing them throughout the year. And also if there's any more stats that you would like me to talk about or books that I should show, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. But don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment whatever you feel like commenting, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!